What's up, everybody? It's your boy Big Poppy JT, and I'm back to you guys with another video. Before I begin, make sure to like the video and subscribe. I upload NFL videos, college football videos, and Alliance of American Football videos. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. And let's get into it. I'm doing my top 10 2019 NFL draft quarterback prospects. This is going to be an updated one from the one I did in December, I believe. I told everybody I was going to do another one because a lot of things were going to change. Quarterbacks were going to end up going back to school and stuff like that. So this is the updated one. So from my previous one, a lot of quarterbacks dropped down on the list. Some went up. Guys like Gardner Minshew dropped down on my list. He's not even on my list at all because he had a terrible Senior Bowl, and I don't like what I heard. So let's get into who the number one player is. So the number one quarterback in this year's draft, in my opinion, is DWAYNE Haskins, the quarterback out of Ohio State. He's 6'3", 220 pounds. He completed 70% of his passes, passed for 4,831 yards. He had 50 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. And I believe he has the potential to become an elite NFL passer. He has a good arm, good accuracy, but he has stretches in middle of games when he just kind of goes cold, especially when he gets rattled like Penn State. He had a cold stretch in Penn State, but he had a good game against Michigan. And I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. Now, it's kind of a tie between him and Kyler Murray, but I put Kyler Murray at number 2. But really, I feel it's a tie between DWAYNE Haskins and Kyler Murray. It just depends on what kind of quarterback you like. If you like a mobile, short, fast guy who can extend plays, make plays with his feet, then you'll go with Kyler Murray. But if you like a guy who can throw the ball with consistency, kill you through the air, you go with DWAYNE Haskins. So Kyler Murray is at number 2. He played for the Oklahoma. He won the Heisman Trophy. He's 5'9", 195 pounds. He passed for 4,361 yards, had 42 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He completed 69% of his passes. He also had 1,000 yards on the ground along with 12 rushing TDs. He has good arm, good accuracy. He's a very, very good athlete. He can extend plays. He's undersized though, so whatever team drafts him is going to have to commit to him, and they're going to have to go for shotgun-based offense because he's too short to drop back from underneath center and make passes with how big the offensive lineman is. Even though he had a pretty big offensive line at Oklahoma, it's different when you run a pro style offense and you have to drop back because you're a lot closer. So I have him at number 2. At number 3, I have Daniel Jones, quarterback out of Duke. He's 6'5", 215 pounds. He passed for 2,674 yards, had 22 passing touchdowns and 9 interceptions, and he completed 61% of his passes. Daniel Jones rose up. He's one of those guys who rose up, got a lot of hype in the middle of the season because of how good he was playing. He looked very good at the Senior Bowl. I believe he had the best Senior Bowl out of all the quarterbacks. He has a great size, strong arm. He has great touch and good ball placement, good pocket movement, especially under pressure. But he needs to shorten his throwing motion. He's probably the most safest quarterback in this draft. I believe he has the potential to be a pretty okay quarterback. Not great, but okay. I think he's a safer draft pick than a bunch of these guys who are after him. Drew Lock is at number 4. He's 6'3", 226 pounds. He passed for 3,498 yards, had 28 passing touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and he completed 61% of his passes. Drew Lock, I feel he was overrated last year, and that showed because he was very, very inconsistent this year. He had some good games like the one against Florida and had some really bad ones like against Alabama. Now, it's no doubt that Drew Lock was held back by his poor supporting cast or average supporting cast. So when he did have talent, like during the Senior Bowl, he was pretty good. I was very, very impressed. I'm kind of changing. I'm kind of starting to like him a lot more than what I did during the college football season. He has a very big arm, but he needs to improve on his accuracy, his field vision, and his progressions. He reminds me a lot of Jake Cutler. Big arm gunslinger. He just has the gunslinger mentality, and I feel his gunslinger mentality is why he had so many up and down performances during the college football season. At number 5, this guy really dropped off. I have Will Grier from West Virginia. He's 6'2", 221 pounds. He passed for 3,864 yards, had 37 passing touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and completed 67% of his passes. He had an up and down season. He had some good games and he had some really bad ones. Like against Kansas, I believe he had 5 turnovers that game. Got exposed during the Senior Bowl week for his lack of arm strength. He only has an average arm at best. He has to work on his decision making and making good throws under pressure when he has to move his feet. And his accuracy and ball placement, his anticipation, it's pretty good. He reminds me a lot of Matt Leinart when he came out of USC. They pretty much had the similar strengths and similar weaknesses. Matt Leinart was very good at putting the ball on the money, good ball placement, but he didn't really have arm strength. So I think Will Grier at number 5 is a pretty good spot. I believe he goes to the right place, goes to the right team, he can end up being a pretty decent quarterback. At number 6, I had Tyree Jackson. Now, if you guys didn't watch my last top 10 quarterbacks video, I had him at number 2. I watched a little bit more film on him. I still like him. He's still my favorite quarterback prospect in his draft class. But it's just I just saw a whole bunch of things that he needs to work on. He reminds me a lot of Josh Allen coming out. They're similar. They have the basically similar strengths, similar weaknesses. They have very big arms, very athletic guys. He passed for 3,131 yards. He had 28 passing touchdowns and 12 interceptions, but he completed 55% of his passes, and that's similar to the amount of that has a similar completion percentage like Josh Allen did in college. So he's going to be a pretty raw prospect. If he goes to the right team with the right coaching staff who can develop him properly, he's going to be a force in the NFL. He really is. This guy is 6'7", 245 pounds, and he really wowed people at Senior Bowl week with how good his arm was and his size. Now at number 7, I have Ryan Finley. That's the same place I had him in my last top 10 quarterbacks video. He's 6'3", 208 pounds. He passed for 3,928 yards, had 25 passing touchdowns to 11 interceptions, and he completed 67% of his passes. He had a pretty average Senior Bowl week. He has good accuracy and takes care of the ball. He reminds me of Alex Smith, but less athletic, and I think he's a pretty good game manager. So I have him at number 7. At number 8, I have Clayton Thorson. He's 6'4", 227 pounds. He passed for 3,183 passing yards, 17 passing touchdowns to 15 interceptions. He also completed 61% of his passes. He led Northwestern to the Big Ten championship, and he didn't really have that good of a supporting cast. I mean, Northwestern's wide receiving core was not really that impressive, and it showed in a lot of their games when they struggled to create separations. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be like, why do you have Clayton Thorson on this list? He's not really that good. 15 interceptions, 17 touchdowns, that's not good. Well, not all 15 of those interceptions on Clayton Thorson. Either the wide receivers had juggled passes, drops, had passes fly through their fingertips. So really, if we really calculate all that, he really only had 8 interceptions. But I mean, an interception is an interception. So I think he's a pretty solid quarterback. He has good mobility, good arm, but he needs to work on his accuracy and ball placement. At number 9, I have JARRETT STIDHAM out of the University of Auburn. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. This past season, he had 2,794 passing yards to 18 passing touchdowns to 5 interceptions. He completed 61% of his passes. And like Drew Lock and Clayton Thorson, Stidham was held back by his poor supporting cast, but I'm not going to blame it all on his supporting cast. JARRETT STIDHAM had some games when he was pretty much unwatchable. It just cringed watching him play in some of those games. He was just terrible. He had an average Senior Bowl. I don't think his draft stock went up that much. He has talent, but I think he'll be better if he sits and develops for a couple of years. He has okay arm strength and accuracy. His accuracy is slightly above average, but I think he's a better athlete than what most people give him credit for. At number 10, I have Kyle SHURMUR at the University of Vanderbilt. He's 6'4", 225 pounds. This past season, he had 130 passing yards to 24 passing touchdowns to 6 interceptions, and he completed 63% of his passes. He's the son of the New York Giants head coach Pat Shurmur. Kyle Shurmur is like Daniel Jones. He improved in every single season he played in. His accuracy got better. I think he's a pretty draftable quarterback, like everybody else said about him on several websites that I saw, on several quarterback lists that I saw. He's draftable. That Notre Dame game really impressed me. Even though they lost that game, I think he had a very good performance against a good Notre Dame team, and that's what got him on my radar. And now I watched a little bit more film on him, and I like him every time I put on film on Kyle Shurmur. I like him a lot more than what I did before. So he needs to work on his mechanics a lot, but I think he's pretty draftable. I could see him going in the 6th round, 7th. I don't see him going undrafted. I think he's pretty draftable. And this is my top 10 quarterbacks list for the 2019 NFL Draft. Let me know what you guys think about my list down in the comment section below. Make sure to